follow-up question from my last video was, what are the 3 planes of motion in detail? So we got frontal, which is side to side, and then we have a sagittal, which is forward and back, and then we have transverse, which is twisting. Now, let's cover these 3 planes of movement. If you train within these 3 planes of movement, you got almost a complete program. So the 3 planes, I like to call it 3 planes, 1 body, nothing left uncovered. So think about the human body. It moves in these 3 planes of motion. Most training programs develop one, or it's usually forward, right? Forward and backward, and they call it fitness. The hard to break philosophy deliberately develops all 3 because injury does not announce which direction it's coming from. A lot of it is from rotation, a lot of it is from side to side, because those are the least common movement patterns. So let's break down the sagittal. Sagittal is forward and back. It divides the body into left and right halves. The movement direction is forward, backwards, up, down. So think running, squatting, pressing, hinging. And then, okay, so you can do a lot of this with body weight, but the tools that you can use, the tools that I recommend, the hard to break tools, if you will, are kettlebell and a heavy club. And you can cover all 3 of those. Think kettlebell swing, forward and back, hinging. Think snatch, up and down. Think clean and press. Think the goblet squat. Think pull-up. And so why it matters. This is the most trained plane in conventional fitness: posterior chain power, the vertical push and pull, the hip endurance, the foundation that everything else is built upon. It's the main movement pattern. So you're definitely most likely living inside there. Next we have frontal, the frontal plane. So think side to side, lateral. Divide the body into forward and back halves. Movement direction is side to side, stepping, shuffling, resisting lateral force. Think somebody pushing you from your shoulder. Think lateral lunges. Think lateral shuffles to get out of the way of something coming at you. Think football players. Football players have great lateral movement, right? Especially the running backs, or anybody who carries the ball is trying not to get tackled. You'll see lateral movement in there. So the lateral movements, how do you cover this with a kettlebell? How do you cover this with a club? So the kettlebell is great at this because it's asymmetrical loading, meaning you're only carrying the weight on one half of your body. While you do that, right, your body's compensating to cross-body stabilization, and one side of your body is firing more so than the other, trying not to break you in half. Think heavy clubs now, right? Again, non-symmetrical loading, so you're getting that cross-body stabilization with the club too, but anytime you swing that club down and to the other side, pair that swing with a squat right at the end of the movement, that's all lateral movement, and you're trying to accelerate and decelerate weight, moving weight, absorbing load. Think hip stabilizers. That's all the frontal plane, side-to-side movement. Now, the last one is the transverse plane. If you are a martial artist, if you are a fighter, I like to say the transverse plane is where life-saving and ass-kicking exists, right? Martial artist, anybody who is in a sport that requires some type of throwing or generating power, it exists in the transverse plane. So now think upper and lower halves, twisting, rotating, throwing, swinging, turning under load. The tools that you can use for this, again, kettlebells, heavy clubs, the heavy club mills, which is a combination of several heavy club movements. Think swipes, think shield cast, mace 360s, 10 to 2s, right? All transverse stuff, inside circles, outside circles, anything where you're twisting. This is the most neglected plane in conventional fitness. Very rarely will you ever go to a big box gym, or any gym for that matter, and see somebody training the rotational power, the rotational part of your body. Rotational power is how the body generates and absorbs force in real life. Think fighting, carrying, throwing, catching. That's what clubs are great for. The shoulder is designed in such a way where the human body is designed for throwing patterns, and the heavy club does that perfectly. It mimics throwing patterns. Yeah, it's my favorite plane of motion to train. Life-saving and ass-kicking. So think about your training program. Think about, I'm probably definitely covering the sagittal plane, forward and back, up and down, but am I covering the frontal plane, side to side? If not, start training it, right? Be hard to break. Become harder to break. Not impossible to break, but train in such a way where your body doesn't want to break down. And then definitely get into the transverse plane. Jiu-jitsu guys, anybody, boxers, Muay Thai, all the martial arts train the transverse plane. So you're covered there if you're in martial arts. If not, go buy a heavy club and start training it. Start rotating and become hard to break.